what he had them do, and they own their house free and clear, is he had them pull out the money in a mortgage. And so what they did was they pulled out a mortgage, and then he agreed to make that mortgage payment until paid in full, and they could use that money tax-free as a down payment. And so the idea was to refinance, use that money as the money towards the down payment, and then he was able to acquire the property. So hey, what's up, bootstrappers? So I wanted to share with you an idea that I got from my mentor a while back. This is probably when I first got started in this business. It was one of his examples of a very creative deal that he did, and up until that point, I had never considered this as an idea. And I'll share this idea with you, and then I'll also share with you how it can apply to today in this environment. So the idea is that you want to buy a property, but you don't have enough money for the down payment that the seller is requiring, because you want to do seller financing. And because you don't have enough money, you're like, well, what am I going to do? I don't want, and it's a great property, you don't want to go and give up the rights to it. So you don't want to go seller finance it to somebody else, because then you lose control of it, or the utility of that particular property. And so, but the seller wants X amount of dollars in order to move forward. So this particular seller had excellent credit. Actually, the exact example was this. There was 3 parcels, all side by side, and the seller lived in one, and then he had one on each side. And so what he did was he went ahead and sold both of those parcels on either side and kept his house in the middle, but he wanted money for both of those parcels. One of them actually had a mobile home on it, and the other one was bare land that could be developed. And so what my mentor ended up doing at this time was he went back to the original seller and said, okay, hey, you want, I think they want like $100,000 down for the property, and then they were willing to finance the rest. And so what he had them do, and they own their house free and clear, is he had them pull out the money in a mortgage. And so what they did was they pulled out a mortgage, and then he agreed to make that mortgage payment until paid in full, and they could use that money tax-free as a down payment. And so the idea was to refinance, use that money as the money towards the down payment, and then he was able to acquire the properties. And so he acquired the properties, sold one of them, got I believe like $50,000 down, and then so he had then at that point a $50,000 mortgage and the land. He was able to develop the land, and then after that, he was able to sell it off and make his profit that way. And so that's exactly how he did. So what does that mean for you and for me? Well, in today's market, there's a lot of sellers. They're just like, houses are just going super fast, because that's just the market that we're in. But what if a seller wants more than what the property is worth, like considerably more? So for example, we are looking at a house right now, my wife and I. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house. It's on, it comes with the opportunity for several different parcels. I think there's like 8 or 9 different parcels with this property. We don't want them all. It has a shop and a pool, and then some land around it. So, but they want 1.2 for the entire package. The house is in disrepair. It's an original build in 1964 or 1974, and it has a lot of deferred maintenance, so problems with it. And so for us, it's like, okay, we're definitely not going to buy the whole thing for 1.2. They want $650,000 for the house. The house on a good day is probably worth maybe about $3.25 in its current condition. All fixed up, it's about a $550. Definitely not $650 in this market. So they definitely want a lot more for it. However, it's owned outright free and clear. And so, asking them to take back a note isn't really what they want to do. It's in an estate. It was their mom and dad's property. They want to have the money. They want to divide it up against the siblings. So what their opportunity actually could be, and this is perfect, because you have sellers like, oh, it's a seller's market. Sellers going to get what they want. No, not necessarily. If a house is garbage, a house is garbage. The market's going to bear what the market's going to bear. And just down the street from this house, literally within like four doors, like four houses down, there's another property that is bigger as far as the actual property, like the house itself, and the So square footage wise, land wise, no, not there. But we're talking house to house. They're selling theirs for $590, which is, and these are both for sale by owners, which is actually high for this market. It's a good market. It's a very desirable market, but they're asking 300 bucks a square foot. And this house has been completely remodeled. It is a nice property, and they're asking 300 bucks a square foot. Our average on a fixed up property is we're pushing the 260. So there's definitely a bit of a gap between where the market's at and what they're going to get, which is why it's been on the market for a long time. With these like open houses like every weekend, and no one's coming because it's just priced too high. So anyway, I digress. So what's happening now is, there's a comparable of this house that's like that, and that's like all fixed up, and then there's this other house that's like the one that we're interested in, that is just, it is what it is. It's just a very deferred maintenance property. There's some water damage inside. They're on a well and septic. It looks like the sink, I don't know, something has happened, but because it's tiled floor in the kitchen, the tile is now sunk in. It's on a slab though, so that's the thing. So it's on a slab foundation, which is a good thing, but the tile is sunk. So something has happened that's caused the tile to, whether they put a subfloor down before they put the tile down, I don't know how they did that, but the tile is sunk, and there's mold all in the grout. There's mold all in the cabinetry underneath the sink. So there was something that had happened. The pump's turned off, so I can't inspect that just yet. They're like real like hesitant, like, oh, don't turn the pump on until we get into contract and all this stuff. So what's the opportunity? Well, I don't know what's going to work out, but this is my suggestion to them is like, look, because we have cash. We have enough cash to pay half of it, of what they're asking for. And so I'm willing to come to cash to the table for a property with very favorable terms. So what I'm thinking here is, well, why don't they just go ahead and take out a loan on this property, and then we will go ahead and take over that loan, or better yet, let's say that the trust doesn't have its own TIN number, so they can't go and get financing, or the trust doesn't have any assets to go ahead and get financing itself, and none of the siblings are willing to go ahead and transfer it into their name so that they can get financing themselves. Well, that's okay. I have somebody who's actually willing to go and get a loan against the property, and then allow me to assume that, I shouldn't say assume, they allow me to take over payments on that loan. So there it is right there. I can get a loan from someone else to pay them as well. So it's the same thing. So the concept is, you can have the seller pull the cash out and you can take over payments, or you can have someone else go ahead and pull the cash out and they allow you to take over the payments. This is a family member that's willing to do that. So it's like, okay, not everyone's just going to be like, hey, here's $300,000, go have fun. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of creative ways for you to still find properties in the seller's market that still allow for you to go ahead and, get what you want. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. And these are just two that I'm sharing with you, private money from a friend or family, or have the seller more than likely, refinance and take the money and consider that as a down payment while you take over their payment for them. So, you're only limited by how creative you can be, or how creative you can't be. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is how creative are you, and that's your limitations. If you're not, a very creative person, then it's gonna be difficult for you. If you're very creative, then yeah, this would be great for you. So just remember, guys, you're only one deal away from changing your entire financial future. It just takes one deal, one creative, seller solution, one creative seller finance opportunity, one creative financing, deal in your portfolio, and you can start to work this thing out and make it happen. So if you like this kind of content, you want more of it, go ahead and make sure that you're getting, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe. If you're watching this stuff elsewhere, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you like about it, what you'd like to see more of. If you're interested in seller financing, I got a deep dive. It's a deep dive seller financing. I'll have it in the comments there, or it'll be the first pin for you. But it's going to be in the description. Basically what it is, it's about 2.5 hours of me going through all of the seller, not everything that I know about seller financing, but basically an overview of what seller financing is, taking a deep dive into it and looking at, okay, what is it that makes this work? Some of the terms, some of the things that we've done. So I'm going to be going over several deals that I've done over the years, and I'm currently doing, that are utilizing different seller financing techniques. So that alone will give you a great understanding of what's possible and expand your mind to what's available to you in your market and where you're currently investing. If you're interested in doing this, it's a $250 investment for 2.5 hours of me teaching you the basics of seller financing, deep dive into it, and answering all of your questions. So you're definitely going to get all of your questions answered. There's not going to be any questions that you have that are not going to be unanswered. I don't hold anything back. And if you feel that during the 2.5 hours, any time of it was just worthless, like, hey, and you know what, I didn't get any value, I'll gladly refund your money, because it's not about the money. It's about you taking in time to invest in yourself to move forward to the next step, whatever that may be. And this, sometimes people just are stuck. They're like, look, I don't know what I can't do, and I don't know what's available, and I don't know what possibilities I have, until they actually are shown those opportunities. And sometimes you have to invest in yourself. I'm talking $250. I mean, like, what is that really? And again, if you don't like it, it's not about the money. I'll gladly give you the money right back. But it's about you investing in yourself to take the action. And if you don't do that, then you'll just stay where you're at. So if that's something that's interesting to you, I do this class once a month. It fills up very fast, and we will have our next one in June. And we're already I already have seats that are taken, so we're not quite full yet. So we still have some. I don't exactly know the numbers. I don't want to throw out numbers without knowing for sure. I got to look at my matrix and see what I have. I know I had some holdover from last month that didn't make it in, and so anyway, that's that. I'm Ryan Nickel, guys. Just remember, one deal is all it takes to change your entire financial future, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, I actually hope to see you also on the deep dive too.